My next guest is coming off a huge comeback win last weekend at UFC 258, getting that submission victory over Maki Pitolo. It's Julian Marquez back here on the program. Julian, how are you doing, man?
Man, I'm golden, and I'm pumped to be on your show today. We got so much fun things to talk.
We got so much to get into, man. I just wanted to start first with, how have these last 72 hours been? I know you talked about shooting your shot on Saturday night and all that, but how have things been? Have you been able to, take a breather and just acknowledge that you got this huge win?
Man, yeah, I acknowledge it. It really actually hit me. I watched the fight back, and I ended up watching it like a fan. And I was like, oh, dang. I'm really cheering for myself. Even though I know the whole entire, what happens in it, I watched the fight, and I started getting sad, dang. And then I got the finish at the end with 40-something seconds left. And then I was like, oh, wow, this is what everyone was feeling, it bummed me out watching it. But I definitely sunk in, and it's been great, man. It's doing everything that I planned for the past 31 months, everything I've hoped for and more.
Well, and it's much cooler watching it back because you can actually hear the commentators up with the full audio and everything. How was it in the cage when you got it? Because, you don't have all the fans getting up and cheering, right?
Man, I didn't, when they announced that I won, after I got the submission, I thought we had a lot more time on it. Time didn't go by as fast as it was. I didn't feel tired at all in the fight. I couldn't really hear, actually couldn't really hear anybody but James. And it didn't matter if I was in a big, fan-filled deal. It didn't matter. That's all I heard was James the entire time. I didn't hear anyone talking about anything else, which was really it was really weird to have that. But I didn't really know what was going on, in all honesty.
So, and I'm glad you brought up James Krause, because that was one of the changes for this camp, is you being at Glory MMA, getting to, go back to your roots, work with James Krause. Did he say anything to you specifically in that second round that maybe pumped you up for that third, or was it just hey, I got to get this done, I'm going to lose this fight?
That's the thing is look, I've had a long connection with James. He was my first coach when I started this sport. I left to go to Vegas to pursue stuff, got what I had, but I was still lacking, structure. I was still lacking, someone to take me under the wing and show me something to go with. And I went back with James, and dude, he's been phenomenal. And when it came to that second round, James and we both have two different characters. I fight as a different character than anybody ever sees, and then James coaches in a different character. And what I mean by character is that when you watched my third round, you could see, even Joe Rogan was commenting, look at his face. Look how mean he looks when he's throwing these punches. Look how vicious he looks. And that's just the other person inside me that's been dormant for 31 months. And James has that same exact person in him on the coaching side, and the fighter side as well, probably. But the coaching side, he has that. And in that second to third round, right between it, James was able to legitimately speak to me in that sense. He was able to find and talk directly to that person that was inside of me, that character that was inside of me, and he brought it out. Because he called me Julian Marquez. And I can tell you, as long as I've known him, he's never used my first and last name.
Right.
And as long as I've known him, I've never said sir to him. I've never said yes, sir. So at least we know whenever I get into that vicious style, I'm a very respectable person. But those are two things that's out of character for us.
Right.
So we definitely were talking both to our animal instincts. We're talking to each other. And he said what I needed to hear. He said what I needed to hear in that round. And all he had to say was, if you don't finish it, it doesn't count. And that meaning all the stuff I went through, all the hardships, all the ups and downs, it doesn't count. It's all for nothing. And
what surprised you the most about Maki in that fight that maybe you weren't expecting? Because I know the game plan was on point in terms of, what James prepared you for, but was there stuff in the fight where you're hey, I didn't expect this?
We planned for everything, and honestly, I had a great camp. I've had a great, 3 camp for this camp, and that's a lot of camps in a word. Yeah. But we were prepared for it. I just believe, in all honesty, I don't believe in ring rust. I don't think that was there because I didn't show ring rust. But what I did show is a person that has been out for 31 months, that didn't have the correct timing, that didn't have the right fighter IQ, that kind of forgot some of the placements and movements of a body or like how you're fighting, you know. Maki came out there. I said he was going to start southpaw. I knew he was going to start southpaw. He was going to try to throw me off and make me confused. He rushed in for the takedown. We knew that takedown was going to go. But like with me, if you watch, he went in for the takedown. I scramble. I get on him. I grab and lock up, and I slip and fell. You know what I mean? So, like, I was making mistakes in there, a lot of mistakes, and Maki was doing great and capitalizing, and we fought the best Maki the UFC has seen. I brought the best Maki out of him, and that's the best part. Like, that's what I wanted, and he put me in position. He beat my ass for literally, I wouldn't say beat my ass, but he beat me up for, 3 rounds, honestly. Like, had I not got that finish, I would be a unanimous decision, but the difference between me and everybody else is that, I said this in my post-fight interview on the very first time I was in the UFC, is that I'm not giving up.
Yeah. And you had a great quote as well, just kind of talking about how the fight kind of went like the last couple of years, where it's been a rocky road and then you come out on top as the winner in that one. How much did you feel like you were going to get the finish in that third round? I was curious, like, what was going through your head? Did you feel like there was an opening there? Or were you kind of like, man, like, I'm running out of time here?
I didn't know I was running out of time. Like, I was running out of time at all. That's why, like, I didn't hear nothing. Time was slow in there. Like, when every 5 minutes I went through, like, I didn't feel like it was 5 minutes long. But in there, like, I knew I could finish the fight at any point in time. Like, if you watched in the second round, I was on his back and I was punching him and he wasn't really moving. I just got too greedy and I took my arms out from under him. I didn't settle in and I fell over the top. I believe I could have finished it right there. I had the guillotines and everything like that, but I felt like I could finish those as well, but I couldn't get my right arm over the top like I wanted to. I just had, like, positionally just a little bit. My timing was off on trying to lock it up, but every time I would go in for a finishing move, I would have that move. Maki would have to bail super hard on all those moves because I was locked in. So I knew that in that fight I could finish it. At any point in time, I never felt threatened. I never felt in danger, and that's what kind of ultimately at the end, like, it saved me, I wouldn't say, but, like, I got the finish because I knew I was going to finish him. I knew it was there. Like, look, I even gave him a rear naked choke knowing that I was going to get out of it just so I can get out of the position. And if you watch, the choke was in deep, but it wasn't – to him it felt super deep. To me, I could still breathe. I was fine under there. And I picked his ankle off and took him off. But I had all control of that fight, even though it was completely sloppy on my end and it was probably the worst performance I've ever had. It still was my fight.
It was. And that's the thing. Like, I mean, we'll talk about everything that's happened since that fight, but I mean, that was one of the best comeback wins in UFC history, in my opinion, in terms of, you were down 2 rounds, you came back, you won, you literally needed a finish to get it done. And that usually doesn't happen with a lot of fights. Usually the fighter loses the decision. So, I just wanted to talk about all that because, again, I think that's an important part of what happened on Saturday. But of course, after the fight, the Miley Cyrus Valentine's Day call out and everything like that. Now, just to give some people some context, like, this is something that you've been talking about for a while. Like, I know you did the pre-fight interview, but even on your podcast with Kendras, I know you had mentioned about the Miley Cyrus thing. So I want to know, when you made that, did you really expect her to respond? Like, what percentage were you giving that she would actually acknowledge you?
100%. I said on there, like, I know she's going to respond. That's the thing, is, like, fighters don't understand that, Joe Rogan's job is to keep us talking on our post-fight interviews. And everybody's post-fight interview is the absolute same. And that's one thing with me, is, like, I never have given a boring post-fight interview. And that's just me, man. I'm exciting. I'm fun. I like to try new things. I believe my marketing is phenomenal when it comes down to it. And I knew that I have an opportunity. I can call her out and say, like, hey, would you be my Valentine's? Like, what are the odds of me returning on Valentine's Day? You know what I mean? Like, it just all worked out perfectly. But I think that, I wasn't really – I knew that she was going to, like, message me, but I just didn't think that I was going to have all, like, the backlash from the fans for me being me,
Right. And we'll get into that. Let's get into it now. I mean, like, when I saw you do the tweet to Miley about, hey, let's get the and I always forget the name of it. I even butchered it on the podcast. What's that called with the type of tattoo? It's a Helene. What's it called?
the henna tattoo.
Henna tattoo. Okay, I gotta embed that in my brain. I keep forgetting that. So you basically said, because she responded to you and she, gave you the props, and then you responded back by saying, hey, let's up the ante a little bit. Why don't you put this henna tattoo of the Cuban Missile Crisis, your nickname, on her chest, which I thought was great. Like, I've told you this, we talked about this, before we came on here. That's what you do. You have fun with this. And all these people like coming out of the woodwork saying, Julian doesn't know what he's doing. He dropped the ball. Like all these articles I see, which by the way, like who's to say that is the right, or like, I just find it funny that everyone's so certain this is the wrong thing to do. So, I mean, were you expecting that backlash when you actually put that out there, or were you like surprised by how negative people were? Cause I certainly was.
Well, I didn't care what people think. I don't care. Like I even said it in my pre-fight. I'll post it on my Instagram just so people know this. But in my pre-fight interviews that I had with everyone, they asked me what happened in the past, 2 years, what I learned, and why I've been so like just fun and free and all this stuff and like being myself. And I said, fuck everybody.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if I sat up here with a t-shirt or a sweatshirt, someone's going to hate me for the clothes that I wear. And it's the exact same thing. It didn't matter if I shaved my chest or it didn't matter if I did. There are always going to be bad comments, and that's how it is. Mm-hmm. The thing is that it's me being me. She responded to me like, yeah, you can be mine, just shave MC. I thought that's a funny way, like, oh, here's a little test. So I threw it right back at her. She's fun. She's exciting. And I was like, she's joking with me. Let me joke back with her. And then everyone's all mad. Like, it's crazy how people think that, they forget we're all like humans, and they think that
exactly
just because she is, who she is, means that she's better than me in a way. Like that's what everyone's saying. You don't turn down. You're like, she's popular. It doesn't matter. It could be Jesus Christ himself if he was here with me. And if he did that to me, I would do the same exact thing back. Like I'm not a lesser person.
I thought it was funny as well. And I think that's what people missed in this whole thing, is that like, it's not, the goal is for you to not, become Miley Cyrus's boyfriend. It was like a fun thing to do. It was Valentine's Day, like you said. And I just could not believe how negative people were, as if they were certain that this whole thing got ruined. But I love the support that you got. Kendra Lust, your co-host, one of the most popular women in the world for a variety of reasons, came to your defense and said, look, Miley's going to want him more because of this. And I agree with her, because it's like, how many people in that situation would turn the tables and say, hey, you do this? So have you been encouraged by that, to see women who actually probably know a lot better than, it's all these guys, by the way, who are giving you this dating advice. It's not any women, right? So has that been encouraging? I'm sure you like that when Kendra, stepped up to the plate.
Yeah, Kendra is awesome, man. No, it definitely helped out. Like Ashley Yoder even dropped some knowledge too as well.
Yeah.
Like it's true. Like I did that because that's how I'm going to do it. And like everyone else is mad because they wanted me to be a clown.
Right.
They wanted me to be a clown for them. And it's like, I did it. It's fun. Like, look, let's realize like this is Miley Cyrus. She has a lot going on. She tweeted me. Awesome. I would put MC on my chest and she tweets me again, and then it goes over, things like that. And I'm like, no, like, cool, man. Like, I don't really expect it to be something like, oh, we're going to date. We're going to be on the next, TMZ article and all the headlines. Like, no, we're not. Like, she's got her own stuff going on. She has a whole bunch of things that she's going with, this new 80s style, like, genre of music she has coming out. And Midnight Sky, like the whole out. Like, come on, dude. Like, she's a bunch, like, and I'm focused on the UFC. So let's be honest right now. Like, that was all just a great marketing and fun deal, but people really have been invested. So, I reached out to Barstool with the whole deal. I'm like,
exactly.
Hey, like, look, I got everybody on here. All eyes are me. I'm being an influencer. I'm going to sit here and do good. There's a lot of people that have been struggling because of this pandemic. I was like, let's team up. So Robbie Fox from Barstool set up a little link and code, and if we raise up enough money that we have, it's not a big target, but if we raise up enough money, I'll do MC in my chest. Not because Miley told me, but because it's going to help everybody out when it comes down to the small business relief program.
Yeah, and for people who don't know, Barstool, Dave Portnoy, the president, has set up this fund, and it's been going for a couple months now. And I don't know what the number's up to now. I remember the last time I checked, I think it was like 30 million or something, which is insane. Like, this is something that the government should be doing, but here's a company like Barstool taking advantage of their platform and raising awareness. I think it's great what you're doing. I wish people would focus more on that, hey, look, you're having some fun with the celebrity. Like, I see some pretty notable people in this industry saying, you probably never had a girlfriend, instead of focusing on the fact that, look, you're using this opportunity and actually doing something with it with the Barstool Fund. So, kudos to you, man, because I think there's a lot of ways you could have gone with it, but here's something where we have people in the society right now struggling, small businesses, and it's going towards a good cause. Do you know kind of what the funding's at yet, like what the response has been since that? Because I feel like that's getting lost in this whole thing.
Well, I haven't asked about, because we just posted it yesterday. I haven't asked until I'll probably ask Robbie here in a couple of days, like where we're at, just because I'm not going to blow him up every day. But the link, if you go into the link in my bio on Instagram and you click the link that I have with the photo, that actually, goes to their main one, which I think they're at 35 million, maybe a little bit more. But that's how much money they've raised. And whenever they donate off that link, it shows them how much that link is generated. So that way we can know where we're at and just having fun with it, And at the end of the day, most people got to understand this, that like, I've always been that type of guy. Like, whenever I win, we all win. Like, and I've always been there from the moment I've been in this game. Like, how many times have I released like the funnest interviews with you that I haven't told anybody else? It's because you've been there from the beginning. Like if you look at my Instagram, everyone's like, oh, you're pushing out these sponsors. All the people that I've pushed on my Instagram so far have not given me a single dime.
Yeah.
It's because those people helped me out during the time that I was, the lowest I was. I was injured. Those people were helping me out during that time, talking to me. Why would I sit there and ask them for money? It's like I'm using my platform to blow them up because these people helped me whenever I didn't have nothing. It's like, let's keep going. Let's keep this trend going. That's how you grow, right?
Yeah, I completely agree. And look, we played Tecmo Super Bowl, which I know is a little touchy subject here, but we can address that. We can get our rematch at some point, Julian, when that ends up happening. Okay, a couple quick rapid fire questions, and we'll wrap things up here. What are your DMs like right now? I got to imagine there are some women who have reached out because of this whole thing that have caught your eye. Are you getting a lot of ladies in your DMs these days?
Yeah, I get a whole bunch.
And famous people too. Like, this is something I don't think you talk about too much, but I'll throw it out here.
Oh yeah, dude. I've had like NBA players definitely reach out to me about the Miley Cyrus stuff. Like, I've had, actually actresses and actors reach out to me. Like, they're all aboard. I was like, whoa, what's going on? I've also had some wild stuff like requests of being like, if Miley turns you down, I'll be there with you. We'll definitely talk about some of the DMs and photos people have sent me. Like, I don't click on photos. This is one thing I don't do in the DMs. But on the Beauty and the Beast podcast, when we do film this week, I am going to talk about those DMs because, man, it's wild. Like, some people would say, and I have it from all the community, like, and I think it's awesome. Like, that people care for me from all over and they love me. Like, you have women, you have men, you have transgenders, you have from all the spectrum. They all, like, find me awesome. And there are people that sat there and, like, literally came out in, like, the DMs and saying, like, hey, look, like, I'm a transgender, and your comeback in the fight was huge, and what you said on there and just shooting your shot and just going for it, and how everyone's being negative yet you're still positive, like, you help inspire me, man. I just want you to know I appreciate you. And it's like, dude, you're getting that from people that get the most hate from everything, and they're watching me get hate for just being myself and realizing, like, hey, it's okay. That's fucking awesome, right?
Yeah, I agree. And if you've learned anything in this interview, it doesn't hurt to be a challenge every once in a while, even if it is a celebrity. So that's kind of the main point we're getting here. And just have fun, people. Come on, everyone's got to relax here. Thought everyone's a little bit too negative. Okay, before we go, I got to ask this. I don't know if you've answered. I'm sure you've answered this in other interviews, but I got to ask anyways. The bonus, what are you going to be doing with the money?
Well, in all honesty, like, I want to buy a place, man. I want to buy a duplex. I want to go there. I definitely will invest a lot portion. I think I just invested I want to say I invested 20% of my income in stocks already, and go talk Friday on a place that I'm going to buy. But I don't buy things for me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't go out and like, oh, I'm going to get a Gucci flip flops, or I'm going to get this. That's not me, man. Like, I just want this money to keep coming, because when I got injured last time, I was lucky to do the same thing to be able to last on that amount of money throughout the duration of my 31 months being gone. So that's it, man. Just buy a house, rent it out, make money, get stocks. Let's go.
Keep getting hit up by celebrities. It's all good. Hey, did Eddie Alvarez, by the way, ever get in touch with you? I know we were talking about him when it comes to stocks and stuff.
Yeah, I talked to Eddie. Like a little bit. He just gave me a few stocks, but we haven't really like dove in back and forth. I've been working with Justin O. That's the one I've been working with for the past, legitimately the past year.
I remember you mentioning him. Yeah. Yeah,
he's tripled my portfolio, like a couplecents.com. For anyone that wants to go there, you can do Julian is the promo, and it's for 1 month free. You can try it out. It's 7 months without the promo, like $7 a month. It's not a lot, but you get to watch the portfolio. He breaks down every little detail of like, this is how you look at a stock. This is what all the terms mean. Like he educates you so you know, instead of just like, just, hey, this guy tells me to buy this, I'm going to buy this. Why? Well, I don't know. Like he breaks down everything. He tells you how much the company sold last year, how much the company sold the year previous, how much the company's worth, why the company is worth $11 and where it's going to shoot up, where it should be, things like that. Like it really helps me out. So he definitely got me off of the GameStop trip before it even started. Like we knew about it before it was going to happen. And he explained to me, he's like, look, they're projecting and what they're talking about, the GameStop is worth more than, Tesla is what they're projecting. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, how much the overhead and how much it's saying is worth? It's worth more than Tesla, but it's a brick and mortar building, things like that, all sorts of stuff. Basically, I didn't put a single dollar into GameStop. All of our friends did, and they all got hurt that didn't listen to him. So
there you go. And last thing, just so we end this on the proper note, because I don't think I asked you this. You and Miley are good. Like she's still talking to you right now. Or she DM'd you, correct?
Yeah, dude. She shot me a DM. We spoke, and she's cool, man. Like legitimately, like this is all like. There's nothing crazy. Like everyone's like, "Oh, you missed a shot." Actually, no, I didn't miss my shot. I have the same exact shot as I did prior. The only difference is that she knows who I am. She follows me. And like Miley's a friend now. Like she's like, who would have thought that I have a friend? Yes, I love her, dude. She's amazing. Like she's like one of the greatest like singers in my point of view. But like I'm not trying to date Miley. Miley's got a bunch of stuff going on. That's a dope friend, and I'm gonna keep that dope friend.
And you're a dope guy for doing this interview as always, Julian. Really appreciate it. We've come a long way since you did the interview in the wheelchair, right? That was our very first one, I think, for Contender Series. I have a good memory. I remember that stuff.
I forgot. You were asking me, are you in a wheelchair? Like, yeah, I was balancing, dude. That's the best.
Yeah, that was awesome. We should dig up that photo on Instagram. But anyways, anything you got to plug, man? Any social media, any sponsors? I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, just get on my Instagram account at jmarquezmma. Click the link in the bio. Donate to Barstool Fun Sports. I will etch in MC once we hit our target amount. But basically, at the end of the day, if you don't care about me doing the MC, just donate it to help the small businesses here in, around the world that's been affected by the pandemic. As well as if you guys need some body wash and some shampoo that smells terrific, makes you clean, makes you feel good. Ballsy is the best product that you can get. It's just a ballsy product. And it's for men and women, but they do have a lot of men products.